baik tu dia jadi tahu रेडियो फीजी बहुत रेडियो फीजी रोज सुनता हूँ
रेडियो फीजी 2 देश की धड़कन.
In the news tonight, lawyers under the spotlight in Parliament. Opposition stays away to visit Singatoka. And child in isolation over health scare.
From the studios of FBC Suva, Jackie Spade.
The Legal Practitioners Unit under the judiciary has been receiving reports against lawyers who continue to breach the integrity of Fiji's justice system. Prime Minister Vurenge Bainimarama says this unethical practice hinders public confidence to access legal services at various independent institutions across the country. Chasai Nanunga reports.
And will continue to support institutions.
Despite the challenge, the Prime Minister has promised Fijians that the government will continue to prioritize its resources to ensure everyone access quality justice services.
Through the Independent Legal Service Commission, government ensures the dispensation of quality legal service by practitioners and promotes law and order by protecting the public from unscrupulous actions by legal officers who do not have their best interests at heart.
Attorney General Ayaz Sayed Kiyum says public support is needed to track down this unethical activity.
We have to note, Mr. Speaker, sir, that we still have a lot of recalcitrant lawyers who are not doing the right thing, as he highlighted himself. And we would take this opportunity to urge all members of the public, please do not hesitate to lodge a complaint with the Legal Practitioners Unit.
It has been revealed in Parliament that relevant laws which have been brushed aside over the past years needs to be reviewed and implemented.
But what I have noticed in the past few years that a lot of order has been brought back. What used to escape or be shoved under the carpet has now come out. A lot of petitions have been charged, a lot of them have been prosecuted. In fact, some of the members of the opposition party have also, who are also practitioners, have felt the full brunt of the commission.
As a way forward, the government has pledged to support the legal education programs for law practitioners and the recruitment of aspiring legal minds for internship. Chosai Nanuga, FBC News.
Parliament resumed today without opposition members. Yesterday, opposition MPs walked out of Parliament in protest to the dismissal of a petition put forward by SEDELPA MP Viliame Ngavoka, who had called for a review by the Standing Committee on Natural Resources on the proposed mining project at the Singatoka River. The Speaker ruled that the petition did not meet the standard requirements. It was legally flawed and sought actions that was not within the powers of Parliament. Opposition Whip Linda Tambuya says their return to the House is dependent on the Speaker's response, having written to him yesterday raising their concern with the petition's dismissal.
Our stance is the same. We are awaiting the Speaker to respond to our grievances before we will go back into Parliament. We had promised that to the people of Singatoka, and so that's the status quo at the moment.
I appreciate it.
So if there's no response, you guys will still remain out of Parliament?
Yeah, we will wait for a response from the Speaker. There's been indication from the Speaker's office that he's having a look at it. So hopefully it'll be sometime today so that we can get back to business.
Meanwhile, Tambuya says the opposition MPs would instead conduct a site visit to the proposed mining project in Singatoka to meet and discuss the concerns of residents in the area. The Health Minister says the opposition's walk out of Parliament shows they've lost the plot. Dr. Feremi Wanganambete says he feels for democracy and the institution of Parliament. In an unprecedented second day of the Parliament sitting, the 24 opposition MPs have abstained from today's proceedings. The Health Minister says national duties continue, irrespective of their lack of contributions.
They do not realize the importance of what's happening here. Basically lost the plot in that sense. So anyway, Parliament must go on.
Meanwhile, a few members of the opposition today visited the site of the proposed mining project in Singatoka. Led by SEDELPA MP Viliame Ngavoka, the parliamentarians held a small meeting at the Nahingatoka village to further discuss the next step of action they will take after their petition was dismissed by the Speaker of Parliament yesterday. Felipe Naikaso has more.
SEDELPA MP Viliame Ngavoka has today stated and told villagers who are affected by the proposed mining project in Singatoka that they will not rest even after the dismissal of the petition.
Before we came, we divided ourselves into three. The group that came here, there's another group that's looking at all the other options under the law, and there's another group that is talking to the management of Parliament, so that we want to get help this resolved.
Works here at the site have been halted since last year, but villagers claim that it has affected the food source drastically.
We want the government to look into this issue, as the sand mining that was done in Kulukulu has really affected us. Our plantations are now flooded because of what they are doing from there. We really want something to be done.
The villagers have also stated that they were happy to receive the few members of opposition. However, they want government to intervene.
We want the mining to stop. As you have seen, it has killed our vegetation. This is also an area the villagers use as their main source of food.
Mining at the mouth of the Singatoka River began in 2007 with 7 villages based close to the river mouth where works have been halted. Philip Naikaso, FBC News.
A 9-year-old boy is currently admitted in isolation at the CWM hospital in Suva as part of the Health Ministry's precautionary measure. The ministry says while the patient's symptoms are not that of COVID-19, as a precaution he has been admitted and lab tests are being undertaken to determine the cause of his illness. Koroi Tandulala reports the boy has a recent travel history transiting via Singapore en route to Fiji.
The ministry says the child and his family arrived into the Nandi International Airport on Sunday, and the family was screened by the health team and cleared as none showed any symptoms of the illness at the time.
They came into Fiji, they were well, a family, and as usual, they filled in the declaration card. They were just transiting through Singapore, Fiji national coming back from Bangladesh. And they went home, and a day or two later, this person, this 9-year-old child, was the only one who was feeling unwell at home.
In addition, all precautionary public health measures have been taken to ensure that the patient is provided appropriate care while reducing the risk of potential exposure to the virus if it is confirmed. All other family members are currently well, however, have been instructed to remain at home until test results are available.
They called our staff, and we've been very precautionary in having the child isolated. Blood tests have been done. At the moment, nothing is confirmed. The child here is well, stable, and we are just now waiting for the results to come back, which is likely to be tomorrow evening. Not all the signs and symptoms that fit coronavirus, but again, we're being extra precautionary.
The health minister says if the test result returns negative tomorrow afternoon, the 9-year-old will then be released. Koroi Tandulala, FBC News.
Up ahead, bogus officers warned of fishy business. And Minister slams Nawaikula over land deals. Details after the break.
Radio Fiji One, Nandomo Iviti.
The impersonation of fisheries officers is becoming a concern for the Fisheries Ministry. Minister Semi Koroi Lavisau believes the newly emerged issue must be dealt with now before it gets out of hand. Sainani Boiler reports.
There have been reports that people impersonating as fisheries officials are allegedly confiscating fish from market vendors.
The officers that are carrying out work have identification cards. There seems to be some people that are going around saying that they are fisheries officers, and I think the simple thing is just to check their ID. And if they don't hold any official ID from fisheries, then they can contact the police or the nearest fishery stations.
Koroi Lavisau urged market vendors to be vigilant while selling their produce.
We don't need to answer any questions if these officers do not provide the identification card.
Every government civil servant usually has an ID hanging around their neck. Once you see that and you see the Ministry of Fisheries official stamp or official letterhead from the ministry, asking them to show an official letter from the ministry, then you could release your stuff, release your underside, grab your fish. And to this kind of people, I think they should be taken to task.
They should be slapped with heavy fines.
They should do their work vigilantly, and the person who are caught, they should be taken to task.
Anyone caught impersonating or falsely representing an authorized officer can be fined up to $50,000 under the Offshore Fisheries Management Act 2012. Sainiani Boila, FBC News.
The Housing Authority will soon merge with the Public Rental Board. Minister for Housing Pramila Kumar says the merge is part of the National Housing Policy as the ministry continues with its reform programs. Sainani Boila reports.
The amalgamation of the Housing Authority and the Public Rental Board will make services more efficient and effective.
First, the cost will come down. Secondly, certain activities which is being undertaken by PRB is also undertaken by Housing Authority. So by merging those two things, it means a huge reduction in the overhead cost.
Also part of the reform is the digitization of services provided by the Housing Authority.
When people put in the application, it gets lost within the system. There is no proper tracking system. So by having an automated system, customers can track the application and they can pay online. And as I said earlier on, they can check the balance, and the family who lives abroad want to help their relatives, they can also pay online.
The Housing Authority has also signed an agreement with the Fiji National Provident Fund for information sharing to help in the processing of applications. Sainiani Mboila, FBC News.
The Lands Minister today hit out at the opposition MP Niko Nawaikula, accusing him of spreading misinformation. During his ministerial speech on the Land Bank initiative, Ashnil Sudhakar highlighted that Nawaikula was recently instrumental in stopping a land bank deposit. He says Kokomo Island landowners in Kandavu were willing to deposit their land in the land bank, but Nawaikula instigated them to withdraw, and as a result the landowners lost out on a good deal. Pranita Prakash reports.
The Minister for Lands has once again stressed there is no land grabbing, a term often used by the opposition side.
The important point is that at least 60% of the landowners must agree before the rest of the process can take place. If the landowning unit disagrees, the process stops there. In addition, after the landowners have given consent, the Honourable Prime Minister then designates the land before it finally goes into the land bank.
Sudhakar also labelled opposition leader Sitiveni Rambuka a weak leader, saying he should have removed MP Niko Nawaikula from Parliament after Nawaikula made racial statements about the open merit recruitment system. Sudhakar says the claims made by Nawaikula is totally wrong and warranted action by the opposition leader.
A stronger leader, which the Honourable opposition leader does not seem to be, would have removed Honourable Nawaikula for his comments from Parliament. If a member from this side of the House made a statement, my leader will not hesitate to remove him from Parliament immediately, because it has caused racial discrimination, it has caused racial profiling of our civil service.
Earlier in the week, Nawaikula had claimed the government is using the open merit recruitment system as a means to remove indigenous Fijians from top governing positions. Sudhakar believes Nawaikula should issue an apology to all civil servants. Pranita Prakash, FBC News.
Minister for Employment Parveen Kumar has updated the House today on the review of the national minimum wage. The minimum wage is currently $2.68, and this, Kumar says, is applicable to around 20,000 Fijians, or 4% of the population. The minister says a comprehensive review has been undertaken, the results of which will be announced soon.
The consultant will be presenting the 2019 National Minimum Wage Review Report within the next month, after which it will be taken through our tripartite mechanism, the Employment Relation Advisory Board, and then to the Cabinet. Mr. Speaker, I must here, for the benefit of those who have been playing political football with this issue and jumping the gun on this matter, to respect the process.
And it's business time now with Koroi.
Thanks, Jackie. Coming up after the break, FDB gets recommendations from committee. And in growing Fiji, bank praised for helping Fijians. Stay with us.
My name is Neha and I'm from Kadavi. And Mirchi FM, it's hot.
Mirchi FM, it's hot.
Recommendations have been made to the Fiji Development Bank on how to become more competitive in the banking environment. Speaking on the bank's 2017 annual report, Standing Committee on Economic Affairs Chairperson Vijay Nath says while the bank performed extremely well in 2017, more support is still needed. Up in Isawanga Randover report, the FDB made a record net profit of $8.15 million in 2017, an increase of 11.63% when compared to the previous year.
The chairperson says FDB needs more exposure.
It is imperative that FDB engage in aggressive marketing to raise awareness of other product offerings. To change the percentage of people that FDB loan process is too long, the committee recommends for an automated system to improve turnaround time.
Nath says some schemes needs to be reintroduced back to their portfolio.
A special loan scheme aimed at first-time small borrowers to be reintroduced. Finally, given the high risk of development banking, the committee recommends that sufficient provision is always made allow for bad debt.
The Attorney General says FDB no longer write off bad debts.
FDB previously had a history of writing off a number of debts. And in fact, many of those debts were written off of people who really did not deserve to have those debts written off. We're happy to note that FDB in recent times has not been doing that.
The Prime Minister assured that the bank will continue to support Fijians who are keen on doing their own business.
We welcome the progress and initiatives made by the FDB in 2017 as it continues to raise the standard of its service and ensuring its competitiveness. The FDB is here for all Fijians and will continue to deliver its mandated function to meet Fiji's development needs. And based on these remarks, Mr. Speaker, I therefore support the report. Vinaka.
Assistant Minister for Women, Vina Bhatnagar, also applauded FDB for recognizing gender equality in the workplace.
This was seen in their move to appoint the first ever woman in an executive management role in 2017. FDB has over the years taken ambitious and bold steps to promote a conducive environment that promotes gender equality.
The FDB's 2017 annual report was unanimously passed in Parliament today, and the Prime Minister assured as the biggest land of agriculture development in the country, it is there to help Fijians. Apeni Sawangarandobu, FBC News.
Gary from HFC Bank joins us now with the latest from the money world.
The safe haven Japanese yen rose to its highest level today against the US greenback in 4 days. Orders for Japanese machinery dropped larger than the 9% forecast to 12.5% in December, while merchandise trade balance improved due to a reduction in imports and increase in exports. The Kiwi dollar is under pressure after the global dairy price index dropped 2.9%. New Zealand's key export product, whole milk powder, fell 2.6% unsurprisingly, given the continuing uncertainty regarding the coronavirus outbreak. Many factories in China are closed, which means less demand for their inputs, including milk powder. In Australia, wage growth for the fourth quarter matched estimates at 0.5% and 2.2% compared to the previous year. Traders will now move their focus to major employment data to be released tomorrow, as this will have an impact on the Aussie dollar. And that's all from HFC Bank for now. Vinaka.
Here are today's exchange rates as set this morning. There was not much change as the Fijian dollar remained strong against our two major trading partners, Australia and New Zealand, and also against Euro and the PNG Kina. It weakened against the US and the Canadian dollar and the Japanese yen. Commodities were on the rise. Crude oil increased, closing at $52.16 per barrel. Gold also rose to $1,601 per ounce, and silver also rose, closing up at $18.22 per ounce. In growing Fiji, Minister for Trade Pramila Kumar says Fiji Development Bank continues to help assist Fijians. She says this has helped those particularly in the agriculture sector grow and in turn help in the development of Fiji.
Banks normally ask for collateral, they will pick and choose their customers, they don't want to take the risk, but our development bank takes the risk. And for that reason, Mr. Speaker, sir, I support the motion because we need bank like FDB. And on the other side, if we take into consideration the performance, financial performance of FDB, we have seen in 2017 they did make a profit of over $8 million, despite borrowing and then lending. So it's a positive sign that the bank is doing well, and we should be behind this bank.
That's it from Business Tonight. Jamie joins you now with the latest from sports.
Nakakuroi and good evening. In sports tonight, local football hooligans warned about behavior. And Suva schools combined to select best. Find out more after the break.
Bula, I'm Miri, I'm from Lotoka, and I love Gold FM because they play all my classic hits.
Gold FM, only the classic hits.
The Fiji Football Association has come out with a stern warning that football hooliganism has no place in Fiji and it will be banning fans guilty of the act from attending games. The issue has come to light after Nandi fans threatened the referee following their side's 1-0 loss to Rewa in their Vodafone Premier League match over the weekend. Aquila Thama reports.
This is the type of action that is influencing Fiji FA to take a more proactive approach in ensuring the safety of match officials.
Previously we had this happening and we had banned the team from hosting any home games.
But this time around, it had nothing to do with a team or players, as Nandi fans threatened the referee for a decision he made during the match. Yusuf says disruptive behavior perpetrated by spectators is unacceptable, and their next course of action will definitely send the message across.
But we will still be identifying those hooligans and we'll ban them from entering the ground because there's hooliganism in football is no place in football, yeah.
The referee's call in a match must be respected, and Nandi coach Kamal Swami agrees.
Unfortunately, in the last minute, Rewa got the penalty, which in my opinion was outside the box, so we'll see how it goes. Well, I was standing there, it was outside the box, but referee's decision is final. We cannot say anything about it.
Fiji FA was pleased with Nandi football officials over the weekend on how they handled the situation.
We still to decide on the Nandi issue, but we are happy to note that Nandi officials were there protecting the referee from their own fans.
This is the second football referee to be threatened in 2 weeks. Aquila Thama, FBC Sports.
Nandronga women's football will feature in the Inter-District Championship for the first time this year. The competition will be special for the players as they also get to host the tournament at their home fortress, Lawanga Park. Tale Matairakula with the story.
Going into the tournament as first-timers is not an issue for these players.
No experienced players, but yeah, they can do their best, and the players are good, and we all are equal, as we know that we can play different kinds of sports, but well, our talents are the most important thing.
Rosima Rama says this is a milestone for the team and playing in front of their home crowd will be extra special.
To all the crowds and all the fans that will be going and watching the IDC competition, just hope they cheer for their team, and that's all the best for IDC.
Fiji Football Chief Executive Muhammad Yusuf says moving the competition to Nandronga is part of the initiative to expand football amongst women.
We always had this competition in Ba or in the south, Suva or Nusari. But then the board decided that we need to take the games to the people. And reason that that's the very reason we are paying a lot of money to host it in Lawanga Park. sports ground, and so we want to allow the women and girls in Nandronga to come out in numbers and watch.
Nandronga have been drawn in Pool A with Suba, Rewa and Nandi. Defending champions, Lambasa heads Pool B with Nabua, Mba and Tailevu Tasiri. The Women's IDC Championship will be played from the 28th of this month to the 1st of March at Lawanga Park in Singatoka. Tali Materkula, FBC Sports.
Spanish club Atletico Madrid have beaten Liverpool 1-0 in the Champions League. An early goal laid the platform for the side against the high-flying Liverpool outfit. In another match, Borussia Dortmund beat French champions Paris Saint-Germain 2-1 in their Champions League last 16 tie. It was youngster Erling Haaland who stole the show for Dortmund. Suva Sangam and Nambour High School are on a roll, preparing their best athletes for the Suva Zone 2 and Coca-Cola Games. The two schools held a combined inter-house meet today with the hope of getting the best out of the athletes. Tali Matarkula has more.
The two schools are looking to give their students a taste of how tough the competition will be during the zonal and the national meets.
We are combining just to get the best athletes to our zone. We know that if we individually do our inter-house, we won't get the best. But with the two schools together, we will get the best towards our zone 2 in week 8.
Salome Gerwanga says the inter-house competition has helped them identify a handful of students who can progress to the zones.
We are looking forward to 30 or 4 students to take part in our zone.
Competing against athletics giants in Zone 2, Suva Sangam PMAC HOD Cecil Chandra says thorough preparation is vital.
The target is Coca-Cola Games, but we are preparing well for the Zone 2 since we are in one of the most difficult zones. As we know that we'll be competing against Mari Suva Grema.
The two schools will now gear up for the Suva Zone 2 meet on March 4th at the NZ Stadium in Suva. Tali Materkula, FBC Sports.
The Kaiviti Silktails have more room for improvement as they gear up to their first international encounter with Papua New Guinea's Hello Wigman. The side hosted their first trials against the Eastern representative team, where coach Brandon Costin was able to identify areas of strength and those in need of improvement ahead of the Melanesian Cup. Venina Rakautonga reports.
The trial match against the combined Eastern side was a good testing ground for the Kaiviti Silktails.
A team from the East, like a Zone East representative side from the Vodafone Cup. And, you know, it was a really good match, but I really feel like the Silktails players were able to show their strength and their fitness and their new awareness around rugby league and the education that they've received and enabled them to come on top. You know, there were stages in the game where the game got messy or got a bit sloppy, if you say. And, you know, I think that's a real learning process when the Silktails are going forward.
The match allowed coaching staff to map out their strategic plan on how they can move forward with preparation.
Last Saturday we had our first trial game here in Bacchus Park in Suva. We had a good hit out with the East team, and it was very timely because it got to test the boys, and it allowed the coach and the head of performance to see where the boys are placed.
The Kaiviti Silktails left the capital city this morning and will be training in the West for the next 2 weeks before the final team is named. Venina Rakautonga, FBC Sports.
Now to our play of the day, there's been some wonderful tries scored in the last round of Super Rugby, where Chiefs fullback Damien McKenzie's against the Sunwolves has been voted as the best of round 3.
Nice job, Michael Allardyce. Nankerville. Gee, been good today, Nankerville. Good line, Damien McKenzie. Outside in, Alwyn to the left side, and Solomon. Aloma Law will get a double.
Weber, the halfback, spot on, perfect. And McKenzie, how many tackles, how many defenders? Puts the finger up, and as you say, Ken, Solomon Aloma says, your try, buddy.
That's it from Sports Tonight. In the Weird and Wonderful segment later on, check out a mum who crochets costumes for her kids. That's coming up.
My name is Neha Neha and I'm from Karavi. And Mirchi FM, it's hot.
Mirchi FM, it's hot.
And it's weather time now with Apanisa.
Well, cloudy periods with some showers were experienced over the eastern parts and interior of the larger islands, while fine conditions were experienced over the rest of the Fiji group. Looking at the west, more sunshine than clouds, with a shower in places. Eastwards from Pekaba to Suva, pleasant condition throughout the day. You may experience some showers late at night. Up north, partly sunny with a couple of showers around. At sea, moderate to fresh southeast winds, moderate to rough seas. And for the tides, the next low tide is at 10:12 tonight, followed by high tide at 10:18 tomorrow morning. Sunrise will be at 6:02. For tomorrow, there is a slight chance of some showers of the eastern parts and interior of the larger islands. Tomorrow, temps will mostly be in the low 30s. Looking further onto Friday, expect much of the same weather. And that's the weather, Jackie.
Thanks so much for that, Apanisa. In Fiji and Pulse tonight, we asked, were the opposition members correct in walking out of Parliament in protest to the Speaker's ruling on a petition submitted by MP Viliamanga Voka?
Positive about that, for them to walk away, because most of the issues they raise from the Parliament, you know, it's better for them to walk out rather than submitting to them, because they don't accept what they are saying.
The Speaker of Parliament has the final say in every parliament, so the opposition should adhere to it. So they are wrong.
The opposition should not walk out because the Speaker has made his decision and it's final.
The ruling by the Speaker was very clear. I don't understand why they walked out. This is also not the first time for them to walk out.
I agree with opposition walking out because we want our resources to be protected.
I think our natural resources in Singatoka should be maintained, and that's why I agree with the opposition walking out.
Parliament. Opposition stays away to visit Singatoka, and child in isolation over health scare. Now for these stories and others, tune in daily to our sister radio station Gold FM. Our poll question we're asking, should politicians who spread fake news be prosecuted? Visit our FBC website to answer. And our shot of the day, the start of a brand new day, sun filling the sky with shades of orange and yellow. And this gorgeous picture was sent in by the Black Kaiviti tribe. And you can send us newsworthy pictures and videos on email fbcnews@fbc.com.fj, via Facebook page FBC News, our Twitter page at FBC_news, or simply hashtag FBC News. That was your FBC News for tonight. From the team and I, stay safe. Good night.
Bula, I'm Miri, I'm from Lotoka, and I love Gold FM because they play all my classic hits.
Gold FM, only the classic hits.